Today's topic is mind your garden. I have a very simple question that was on that topic is, what do you allow to grow in your garden? Now, Uganda is an agricultural country. We know that. And growing up, we who grew up in the 90s, we were told cotton and coffee were our cash crops. We would export those things to other countries and they would give us money and all other things. So Ugandans spent a lot of time in their gardens to get a harvest, which they would send somewhere else to get something. That is just something just to remind you of our history as a country. And mind your garden. Why mind your garden? Because we often in our day-to-day hear these statements, hey, mind your business. When you're trying to allow me to use this, when you're trying to slowly snoop into someone's business, they're like, hey, mind your business, like back off and mind your stuff. And then in case you are in a place and you've been blessed with height and you're in a place that has something that may hit your head, someone that you're with will tell you, hey, mind your head or mind the stairs or mind something. And if we are to talk about minding and the garden, there are two things I would love for us to first know about. Mind has two definitions. One, mind as a noun, that is part of your body that has the different features that help you think, that help you run around emotions and thoughts. And then there is the mind, which is the verb, which is to regard as important or to feel concerned about something. In this conversation, we are going to rotate around both the verb and the noun, simply because we are going to have an interplay of the noun and the verb to be able to drive the point home. Now, the mind as a noun is the set of facilities which includes the cognitive aspects, such as your consciousness, your imagination, your perception, thinking, intelligence, judgment, language, and memory. Now, it also has others like emotions and instinct. That is the mind we are going to talk about. And here is something that is in our statement that I want us to pick. Mind your garden. We have talked about the mind. Now we are talking about the garden. In the study of mind your language, we discover one thing, that the mind is actually a garden. The mind that each of us has is a garden. Just go back home, look at that piece of land that you look at as a garden. The same way you look at that garden is the same way your mind is. It is a garden. And because it is a garden, I ask the question, what do you allow to grow in your garden? Now, for this whole conversation, you're going to hear us a lot about the mind referred to as a garden. Why are we talking about the mind as a garden? Because just like the garden, everything that is planted in your mind, good or bad, will grow and will give you a harvest. Now, whether it's a weed or a good seed, it all depends on you. That is why we are talking about minding your garden. Now, I'm going to share a couple of things that relate the mind to the garden for us to understand more why we need to mind our garden. One of the things that the mind and the garden share is both are owned. A garden is owned. Same with the mind. And whoever owns the mind, stroke the garden, has the power over it. Whoever owns this garden, stroke mind, will benefit from the harvest that comes out of the garden. That means that as a human, your garden is the mind. And for you to benefit from it, you must own it. You must have control over it. Many times when I'm watching movies, I hear people say, this person got into the person's mind. And when they got into the other person's mind, they made them to do what they wanted. Person A got into person B's mind and got person B to do what person A wanted. That is, person A took control of person B's mind. And as a result, they manipulated them and got them to do something that they wanted. Number two, both the garden and the mind must be nurtured. They must be taken care of. Just as we take care of our bodies, just as you have a piece of land and you have to take care of it, plow it, plant some seeds in it, water them for them to have a harvest. The same with the mind. For every seed that drops into your mind as a thought, for it to bear fruit, good or bad, it has to be watered. It has to be taken care of. And after a period, this will come to reality. That is why it is very, very important for us to mind which seeds fall into our gardens. Now, this one, you've probably heard it before. Both the mind and the garden will give you a huge harvest, or will give the one who owns them a huge harvest. Simply because you own it, you have a great harvest. And because of that, I want to first share with you some quotes from people that have studied the mind and had some things to share. Quote number one, your mind is a powerful thing. When you fill it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change. That's your mind. Number two, this number two is from Victor Hansen. He says, focused mind power is one of the strongest forces on earth. A focused mind has the power to make your mind one of the strongest forces on earth. Three, by Sidney Madwell, says, if constructive thoughts are planted, positive outcomes will be the result. Plant the seeds of failure, and failure will follow you. Number four, whatever you hold in your mind on a consistent basis is exactly what you will experience in your life. This is by Tony Robbins. And then the last one is, you have powers you never dreamed of. You can do things you have never thought you could do. There are no limitations in what you can do except the limitation of your mind. All these people are trying to paint a picture of how your garden, we call the mind, is, how powerful, how great your mind is. As a Christian, let's talk about the world. The guy who created all of us first conceived the idea in his mind. After conceiving this idea, he watered it by having the other parts of the Trinity talk about this idea of let's make man in our own image. So when they watered this idea, behold, they worked towards it, and here we are. We have the universe. It began here. No wonder Solomon says that as a man thinks, so he is. Your garden, which is your mind. Now, one fact that I got to realize that blew my mind away is, did you know that your mind has between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts a day? Just in one day, 60 to 80,000 thoughts run through your mind. And thoughts are the seeds that, when planted into your mind, can give you a harvest, or if you don't nurture them, or if they come as a weed, they will destroy you. Many people live in this world, and there is a myth that we only use 10% of our mind. No, that's a lie. Because even when we are sleeping, we use more than 10%. So that myth has been told to people to make them think like your mind is small, you can't use it. But imagine if we could only use 15% of the 60,000 thoughts positively in the right way, how much would we be able to achieve? Okay, let's raise the bar to 50%, which in Uganda is like the pass mark. If you're using your mind 50%, if 30,000 or 40,000 of the thoughts that go through your head or your mind on a daily basis are used positively, where will you be in just a week? Your mind is your garden. And well, many things would be talked about the mind. Many things can be talked about how strong your mind is, how important your mind is. But one important thing is, for as long as your mind, or as long as you are alive, the health of your mind will solely depend on you. And that takes us to our first of the relationship between the mind and the garden, that they must be, the mind, the garden must have an owner. And the person who owns this garden is the person who benefits most from it. I have a question. As you go through the day, who owns your mind? Like, do you own your mind? Have you taken control of your mind? Or you have allowed the various things take control of your mind? See, we easily give away ownership of our mind, and many times we do not know. And after a period, we begin asking, why am I not progressing? Why am I not moving ahead? Why are things failing? Why do I feel negative about myself? Why do I feel bad about the things I'm doing? Have you checked who owns your mind? Many of us are moving around the world or around wherever we are going, but some things else own our mind. Some other things, we allow social media to own our mind because this is trendy. They've told you if you don't have it, you are worthless. And you've allowed it to come into your mind. You've watered it. So it has now grown, and it has begun bearing fruit. So every time you walk around, because you don't have this kind of car, you don't have this kind of phone, you don't feel like you deserve to live in this world. But hey, I'm here to remind you that the fact that you have the breath, you woke up breathing in and out, you qualified to live in this world. No one should wake up and tell you, you know what, you can't be this because you don't come from this country, because you don't come from this tribe. No, wake up every day. Out of the many thoughts, the 60,000 thoughts, have some thoughts that you align success to. Tell yourself, I have woken up. The fact that I have woken up means I'm a victor, because the people who have died throughout the night, you did not die. So you fought the battle of sleep and woke up, you are alive. That is your first victory of the day. That should give you enough courage to move on. But many of us, we have allowed our day, allowed the newspaper, the stories we hear, rule our day. And because your day has been dominated over by a negative thought, so your day goes wasted because you're here saying, I can't do anything. I remember there was a time I wanted to do something. I wanted to do radio. So someone gave me an opportunity to do radio. And after listening to me, my PD walked to me the following day and told me, you are never meant for radio. You have nothing you're going to do in radio. I was like, God, How am I going to handle this? But then I sat down. I recorded myself speaking. I was like, no, this woman is lying. They can't say that this good voice of mine wasn't made for radio. Yes, I stutter, but hey, you've only known that because I've told you that I stutter. But yes, I stutter or I stammer. But I have never allowed that to sit in my mind that I stammer. Otherwise, I would be here trying to fight with words, and you would not want to listen to me because you're like, what is that person doing? I never allowed it to sit in my mind. My dad told me when I was growing up, I was privileged to share some of my dad's things. Like he's left-handed, I'm left-handed. He used to stammer, so I also used to stammer. So one day I was struggling because there are some words I would not be able to speak at home. It was like, relax. I also did that. You stammer because I stammered. That shows you're my son. So I took pride in being my father's son. So I would not see stammering as a problem. It's like, oh, well, I'm like my dad. So if he stammered, I just need to work around it, master it, and then learn how to speak well. So eventually, I began to master and learn some ways of stammering. And right now, I can at least construct a sentence without stammering. That is a plus for me. Amazing things happen when you allow to take control over your mind. Now, when this person PD told me you cannot do radio. You're bad. You can't speak. I sat down. Yeah, it hit me so bad. I felt so bad. But then later I reminded myself of what my dad told me. You are my son. Yes, you're stammering, but you are my son. So I was like, okay, let me see how which other people have had issues with their speech. Steve Harvey used to stammer, but now he makes money out of speaking. TD Jakes has a list, but he is one of the most celebrated speakers. Moses in the Bible use it as an excuse. God, you're sending me to speak to your people, but I can't speak. But God told him, am I not the creator of the mouth? So when I sat down and heard that woman speak, I felt like she was just encouraging me to work hard. A time came when I became the best sit-in for every show. He returned. Actually, she was fired 2 months after she attacked me for not being able to do radio. So after a year, she came back and she was amazed at the things I was doing. I had sat in for every prime show or prime time show at the radio station. She was like, she actually used the cuss word. I was like, you, I thought you would never become anything. But behold, you have become something important. I was like, there is power. There is power in believing in yourself. And it all begins here. In fact, I'm a Christian, born again, and we have this famous saying that Jesus said that you believe, you first believe, and then you confess there is your salvation. Where does believing come from? It comes from the mind. You hear the word and then believe that yes, I can be saved, and there you are saved. That is the power of your mind. Very important. Very, very, very important that we need, in fact, each of us has a divine responsibility to take good care of our minds the same way we take care of everything around us. The same way you brush your teeth in the morning and in the evening and after every meal is the same way you should take care of your mind. Because, yeah, we see the teeth. They give you a very good smile. But then we don't see the mind. But the mind has the power to create the entire body. Like your whole universe is in the mind. So let's imagine you don't brush your teeth for a month. Yeah, it's an ill moment of man. You'll have people who live in Kampala. You'll have an equivalent of that junction of Bugorovi. It will be that bad. But then many of us do not put that much importance on our mind, that we take care of what we see, but we don't take care of the most important part of our bodies, which is our mind. Because if your mind is rotten, your life will be rotten. This is for a fact. If your mind is wasted, you too will be wasted. That is how important we need to every day take good care of our garden, which is our mind. Now, you're asking, yeah, we need to take care of our minds. How do we take care of our minds? How do we take care of this garden that we've been given so that it can bear good fruit, so that we can use it to soar up with wings like eagles, that we can become the best that we can? Because I don't know how I can emphasize the importance of a mind. I don't know how I can emphasize how powerful it is for you to have a good mind. There are very many words that have been used to explain when someone is in a compromising state of mind. You're not sober. You're not in a good state of a mind. In fact, there are many things that if someone has power of your mind and influence your decision, there will be terms that are legally used to explain that. Because they had your mind, you are not in position to exercise a sober judgment. So, question is, how do we take care of our mind or garden for it to give us the best fruit there is? One, plant the right seeds in your mind. Remember, you're in charge of your mind. So, plant the right seeds in your mind. Now, if you constantly plant the right seeds in your mind, your mind will not play you. It will not deceive you. Whatever you plant in it is what you will see. There are very many beautiful seeds around us that if we planted them in our minds, we will not even have the bad thoughts that we get on a daily basis. Now, how do you plant the right seeds in your mind? What you listen to. If you always listen to people telling you that you're a failure, that seed will grow. You'll even get the energy to water it because it's what you're hearing. If you listen to people who are telling you you're ugly, you slowly begin to become ugly. That every time you wake up, you only see the bad things about you. And eventually, you even change how you dress. You stop dressing rightly and begin dressing anyhow because you received a seed that was the weed that is now destroying you. When you listen to things that speak well of you, and they're everywhere, get your Bible. There are thousands of scriptures that talk about how good you are, how God loves you. Sometimes when I was struggling with self-esteem, I'd get the Bible and read Songs of Solomon. Yeah, because you may look at it as Songs of Solomon is about love. Yeah, it's about love. But love begins with you loving yourself. So sit down and read these verses of how this man was praising whoever he was praising. And then eventually I'll begin seeing good things about me. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm loved. I'm loved. I am somebody. There is a scripture we usually say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That scripture has power. Hey, ladies, this one is for you. That scripture has power. Whenever you feel like you're not beautiful, because I believe that this works, like beauty works best for our sisters. If you tell a lady, hey, you're beautiful, she'll feel she owns the whole world. And many times they're not given these compliments because whoever wants to give them the compliments wants to use them for their own agenda. But how about you wake up, lady, every morning, you wake up and say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am the apple of God's eye. Those things, they are seeds which may be so small, but they hold a lot of power that changes your life. They do. So When you listen to things that build you, when you listen to things that encourage you, that's why I always encourage us to recite our slogan, because it speaks strength in us. It speaks power in us. So the more you listen to things that build you, the more you will really grow. You really become powerful, and even you'll even begin to have ideas that make you better. Have you ever sat in a meeting where the person on the other side, let's say your boss, is busy throwing stones and empty things at you? You guys, you're bad. You can't do this. You're the worst team. You definitely not perform well, because every time you sit with this boss or this team leader, he's throwing you down in the ditch of negativity. But if you get a coach, a team leader, or a boss who is always praising you, who is always telling you you're the best, that even when you're not performing well, tells you, you know what, I see great potential in you. In a few days, a few weeks, few months, you'll become their top performer, because you're hearing words that encourage you. That your mind is having plants and seeds that are right, that are positive, that build a brick of strength on you. But then also, that will also depend on how much control you have on your mind. Because for as long as you don't have control of your mind, even if someone tells you 1,000 words of affirmation, but then deep down inside you tell yourself, no, this person is just trying to, they're just trying to puff air in me. I am not anything. You will be that, because inside you, you will have grown weeds that every good, positive thought that is thrown in, the weeds kill it. So listen to positive things. Also, have a vision. It's interesting. Have a vision. That vision becomes something worth fighting for. It becomes the reason for you to always think well, because you have something, you have, it's the vision you planted in your mind is that fruit that you love so much that every time you feel you want to give up, you're like, I've come too far. I have gone this far with this thing. I can't let it go. Many times when I'm speaking to our CEO, Edwin, and we get to hit rock bottom, we tell you, you know what? I don't believe in us failing. I believe there is this huge thing that we will give all our lives for. Now, a person like that is very hard to take the mind away from this thing, because he's determined. Have a life mission. Sit down and lay things that will challenge your mind to always think of something that push you ahead. This will help you. They will also push you to achieve goals. And thing is, for every goal that you achieve, it's like fruits being picked off a tree. They encourage you while you're eating that fruit. Let's say you plant a mango tree, and the day you begin seeing the fruits come to you and you're eating those mangoes, or you've made juice out of them, you'll be happy that you did something. You tell yourself this is an achievement, and this will boost your excitement and joy about something. Now, also, another way of you planting right seeds is be proud of yourself. You ought to be proud of yourself and feel good in your own skin. Why should you be proud of yourself? There's only one you out of the 7 billion in this world. There is only one you. You are unique. You are designed for the specific life you are. And everything that you are on your life is part of the design for you to become the great masterpiece that will change this world. Some of us are small. Some of us have dog faces. Those that have cat faces. There are those that have knock knees. There are those that have bracket legs. All of these people are uniquely designed for a purpose. Because if you find a guy like Roberto Carlos, his legs were like brackets, but that man that man would have the best, he would take the best free kick. His free kicks had a lot of speed. It was measured like a car, 180 kilometers per hour. He is unique. Usain Bolt with his height. There can only be one Usain Bolt. And sometimes when I look at footballers, I wonder what kind of minds they have. Because today you lose a game, but then that doesn't mean that you stop playing. You continue playing. The days when they beat you so bad, and you feel like, man, life is so bad. But then you see that they'll continue playing. They'll not give up. I think, and I believe it's because they always feel proud of themselves. Always have something you can pick about your life that you're proud of. 2020 is about to come to an end. And there is the conversation of how 2020 has been bad. Everyone is saying, man, things have been hard. But really, can't you pick at least one reason to be happy and proud of yourself for 2020? I can give you one. At least you are a man. That is something to be proud of. Because with the millions dying of COVID, you managed to fight through. You managed to do some things in this year that was chaotic. Get some days, in fact, get some time in your day and pick out the good things that have happened out of your day and be proud of them. It is a seed that you plant in your mind that will give you a push. It's like here things are good, here things are bad. So when you concentrate on this, you'll miss the juice that is here. Samson said that in the head of the lion came honey. That's how life is. That there is a lion here that wants to kill you, but then on the side there is honey. So you have to kill the lion to enjoy the honey. Amazing things. David had to first face Goliath, giant, who was trained. All the army generals had failed him, that failed to kill Goliath. But here is a young boy who took pride in killing a lion, took pride in killing a bear. He said, if I've killed this, will I not be able to take down this? That is the power of you being proud in yourself. Take off some time, write the things that you're proud of. Even if you're considered the world ugliest person, pick some things and write them down. Things that are nice about you. You will see how your life changes. Then get people who speak positive. So many of the times we lose out on good seats because we surround ourselves with negative talkers. We surround ourselves with people with bad vibes, guys who are always speaking negative about ourselves. You have friends who tell you, man, you can't do this. You try a business, tell you, look at this person. They tried, they failed. You try something like, you can't. Get rid of those people. You're not their savior, by the way. Because some of us tell ourselves, I'm with them. Maybe they'll change. Some people may not change. Some people may just be there, just wanting to just hinder your progress. They are enemies of progress. They have failed in life. So whenever they see you trying to escape their cocoon of failures, they want to pull you back. So they'll tell you all negative things. You're a young person. You want to get married. But then all the people that you're with are talking ill about marriage. They tell you, man, you can't. Even the marrieds are cheating. It will kill your positive vibes about marriage. Even when you go into your marriage, you begin thinking, man, everyone is cheating. Even the married people are cheating. And eventually, you will give up on your marriage because you're thinking, you've put a seed in your mind that every married person is cheating. But let's think about it. If you're married and you're not cheating, then why should you be more concerned about the marrieds who are cheating? Why don't you be concerned about you? People failing in businesses. You're trying out this country of ours. You must have someone in government for you to succeed. But then we have many people who are succeeding, but They don't have anyone. All they have is their mind focused on the right thing, and connections are coming their way. These things are just amazing when you begin to surround yourselves of good people. When you have a vision, people will come to you. And then not everyone is for kids. Some are for just people. Please give me way, give me way. You'll be my fans. I love you, what you're doing. Yeah, you're doing all these things, but not for today. Choose, sift through your people that are with you, and then think about the positive qualities of other people. See, many times we try to center everything on us, but then also other people help us. Sometimes we see ourselves through other people. That when we appreciate others, sometimes it will help us appreciate ourselves. But imagine you're always not appreciating others, you're always there fighting each other. You'll never get time to grow. Then learn, consistently learn something. Many people do not grow simply because they refuse to learn. And when you do not grow, you die. It's as simple as that. You die when you stop growing. And many people we're living with have given up studying and learning. Yet we are living in the most advanced generation where studying is very easy. For example, here we are sharing ideas, we are learning. There are videos that are available, there are lessons that are available, there are groups that are available of people. The Transformers community, Transformers Hub community is there. We learn from each other. Take time, learn. The same way you take 25 minutes to bathe in the morning, 20 minutes to pray or more, 20 minutes to go for lunch, the same way you should look for opportunities to learn something. Learn something, a skill. Because the more you plant good and positive things in your mind, the more fruit you'll be able to get. Also, get a way of mentoring other people. Because after you've learned, you have the skills, you are not created to be a lake. Lakes are stagnant. You were created to be a river flowing. Now, the difference between a lake and a river is you never find crocodiles in rivers. You find crocodiles in lakes simply because a river is flowing. It's always moving. It's very hard for you to find those hazards there. But in a lake which is stagnant, you always find all the bad things that are to destroy life. Same way our lives were created. We are rivers. We are supposed to be flowing. That when you get something here, give it to another person. That's how we grow. And there are many ways we can grow and build ourselves. But I want to first pause here on the plants that we grow in our minds and now talk about some of the weeds we need to avoid in our lives. Many of them are these thoughts and people who minimize your accomplishments. Avoid them. Then there is another one, comparing yourself to other people. This one is a weed. It's a weed that when it grows, it kills everything. Because hey, you're unique. You are made a unique brand. So why compare yourself to others? The only way others should be helping you is to look at them and desire to get to a level that is good, but not desire to be like them, because you can never be them. Joyce Meyer once said that the people we admire are also admiring us. The women with the slim women are admiring the fat women. Fat women are working so hard to become slim. That's the irony of life. So if you're always trying to compare yourself with others, you'll always be hitting that end of you can't go anywhere. Then fantasizing about revenge and all the unfortunate things that happen to your life. We all have a life that has gone through bad things. And then the people who continuously dwell on them, like, man, this thing happened to me, so this and this, you're always talking about that. Man, move on. Move on from the bad things that happened to you and begin seeing life at the end of the tunnel. You will enjoy life. And then sometimes, sometimes there's one thing that we tend to exalt that puts us down. We live among perfectionists. And sometimes perfectionism is one of our hindrances, that we tell ourselves, I will not move until this is straight. So sometimes perfection is good, but sometimes we ought to not over allow it to take control of our minds, because if we overdwell on it, we will not move. So with this, we can grow ourselves and move very, very well. Now, another thing that we need to give mind to is our actions. Now, the actions we give power are the actions that will trickle back to our minds and have a fruit. Now, it's very impossible to only plant good seeds in your mind. Very, very impossible, because out of the 60,000 or 80,000, you want only, I can't assure you that all of them will be good. There are days when you'll have bad days, when everything is throwing negativity to you. Don't allow it to grow. Cut them off when they're still there. And it comes with you, one, acknowledging that, you know what, this kind of company I am keeping is wrong. These things I am doing are not fine. I've taken a long time without reading something new. I'm not aware of my life. So whatever comes is what I go with. When you acknowledge the things that are leading you to act wrongly or negatively, then you start working towards getting to the right way. These weeds do not just find us on the roadside. The people who just throw them in our lives. You're there, and a friend just comes and drops a negative comment, and you want it to sit, like you water it, you give it the food, you think about, this person has told me this, perhaps I'm like that. You start like that, and eventually you've ended up being like what the person said. Do not allow that weed to grow. Do not allow that weed to grow, because if you allow it, the person that has spoken it will be on their side waiting for it to say, did I tell you? Didn't I tell you that you're meant to be this? So take good control of your mind, and your actions will be perfect. Now, because I say that is your garden, you always have to make sure that you treat your mind as sacred as you treat your heart. It's very, very important that, well, as we may see or we may say that, my heart is broken. It's not often that we say that my mind is feeling bad, but then we'll definitely feel it. You feel that today I'm not in that good state of mind. But then, because we'll go back to the characteristic we talked about, the similarities between the mind and the garden, you must always have control over it. In all things you do, purpose in your life that no one will have control of your mind, because the moment they do, they'll make you and cause you to do things but not you. And by doing that, you will be moving away from your seeded assignment to someone else's seeded assignment. You will not be achieving what you are called. And you know what happens to items that do not do what they're supposed to be doing or what they're created for? They are recalled manufacturer. You don't want to be among the people who go back to the manufacturer and they tell you, I gave you all the resources. Mind that can process over 60,000 thoughts a day. Why are you not performing the right way? What is wrong? Truth is, it is going to be bad for us when time comes for accountability and we cannot account for how we used our garden. It's going to be bad. So today, I want to ask you, take some time and take good care of your mind. Truth is, we will all go through the hard times. But how you take care of your mind will determine how victorious you come out of whichever storm, whichever hurricane, or how hard that hurricane will hit you. Let's look at the man who wrote the song, It Is Well. His wife and children were traveling on the waters, and a huge wind came and hit the boat they were traveling in, and they all died. He received the news, and it hit him so bad. So, on the same waters he was traveling after a time, he wrote the song, It Is Well. Until today, that same song speaks hope to many of us. He would have chosen to cry over the death of his family, but he'd think about the positive. You've probably gone through loss in business. That shouldn't stop you to try again. You've probably gone through a failed relationship. That should not hinder you from trying again. Because the more you condition your mind to seeds, the more it will yield good fruit. And the more you don't take care of it, and by take care of it, there are many things. If 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 you plant good seeds, you surround yourself with positive people. Make sure that you have built a good system that thinks positive, and your day in day out hearing, listening, speaking good things about yourself. When these things come, what are they going to find? The negative things. They're going to find that you have a backup system, as opposed to when they come and they find you've not taken care of your garden, it is full of weed. When they come, they'll just go through it. In our country, everyone that has land protects it from squatters. Because if your land is not attended to, government will either come and say, we want this land, or squatters will just come and start being there. One squatter will come, then we'll bring another one, and before you know, it will become hard for you to reclaim your land, because there are people you did not have authority over taking care of your land. The same way with our mind, our garden. If you don't take good care of it, and if you don't start today, you'll sit back and say, 2018, 2020 wasn't a good year for me, simply because you did not allow your mind to have good seed on it. Again, I'm going to ask you a question. What seeds do you allow to grow in your mind? We are all seated here. I don't know what you're thinking, but what are those things you are allowing your mind to think about? What are those things you're allowing that when they are spoken to you, you allow them to grow in your mind? What are those habits you're doing that are keeping your mind unhealthy? Because you also need to address those. Because if it's your garden and you need to work on it, you need to make sure that it has the good nutrients for you to be able to grow the right fruits. Sometimes our eating habits fail us from having a good and healthy mind. Whatever you find is what you eat. Sit down. Because you're unique, you need to eat in a unique way. You have the good friends, you listen to the good things, but your bad eating habits are probably keeping you unhealthy. Very important. Sometimes also, we need to address the area of sleep. Many of us don't want, or we overwork our heads. It's okay to be ambitious and all these things, but do you get time to rest? Sometimes our minds stop working well because we do not rest enough. Don't be the kind who is working so hard that you don't get time to rest, because at the end of the day, your body is yours and you can't cheat on your body. You can't cheat on your system. You will wear out. Some people, because they've been overworking, they'll break down. So the time you take recuperating from the breakdown would have been time you take to work out some things. Yeah, be ambitious, but respect the rule of resting. Because even the one who never sleeps nor slumbers took off a day to rest. It's very important. Take off some rest. It will help you to be able to grow well. Have you realized that there are times when you're just paranoid, you're angry, you have all these things, and it's because you've been probably working in, you outworked yourself? Take off some time, rest. You will have a good mind, it will be taken care of well, and you'll be able to have time to grow and see your seeded assignment. I have said very many things today, but if you are to forget anything, you don't forget one thing, that you need to have control over your mind, because when the day comes, you will have to give a full account on how you use this mind of yours. If you allow any other person apart from you use his mind, you will be denied of the beautiful harvest that your mind comes with. So take good care of your mind, take control of your mind, and it will be the garden that gives you an amazing, fabulous, and wonderful fruit that you will look back and say, yeah, this is it. This is the one thing that has helped me. And this is a universal fact. You don't have to be Christian. You don't have to be a Muganda, Jolly American. This is thing that works for you as one. Your mind is your garden. And I want to pray that the Lord will bless you, because, hey, I've come to the end of this session as one. And in case you have a question, feel free to ask away, share things. Or in case you want to add on to what I have said, just feel free. Go ahead, use the chat. And I believe that if you take control of your mind and use it the right way, you will be limitless. You will transform yourself, all those around you. The whole world will have no option but always celebrate you, because you took charge of one of the parts of your body, that you took control of one of the gadgets that means a lot to you and to your creator. You have a heart and you have your mind. While your heart is still pumping in blood, use this mind to build who you are, and you will forever be remembered as a timeless transformer. My name is Regan, and I do hope that today has been a good day for you. Personally, while I was speaking to you, I was also speaking to myself. I know that you are taking good care of your garden, and I can't wait to see the fruits of your garden sprout up and show up to the whole world. God bless you, and back to the command center.